uncovering Africa's darkest moments in history. Join me as I dive deep into Africa's darkest moments in history and see if I can uncover the stories that shaped the continent. Understanding these moments is crucial to appreciating the resilience and culture of Africa, a continent that has faced countless challenges throughout its history. Africa's history is a complex and multifaceted narrative filled with stories of colonization, slavery, and conflicts that have had a lasting impact on the continent. The effects of these events can still be felt today, with many African countries continuing to grapple with the legacy of colonialism and the transatlantic slave trade. Colonization, in particular, has had a profound impact on Africa, with European powers carving up the continent and imposing their own systems of government, economy, and culture on African societies. This has led to a loss of traditional ways of life and a disruption of social and economic structures. The transatlantic slave trade is another dark chapter in African history, with millions of Africans being forcibly taken from their homes and sold into slavery in the Americas. This has had a lasting impact on the demographics and economies of many African countries, with the loss of so many young and able-bodied people having a devastating effect on the development of the continent. Conflicts have also played a significant role in shaping Africa's narrative, with many countries experiencing civil wars, coups, and other forms of violence that have led to the displacement of people and the destruction of infrastructure. Many African countries are still struggling to come to terms with their past, with issues such as poverty, inequality, and political instability continuing to plague the continent. Despite these challenges, there are also many stories of hope and resilience, with Africans working to rebuild and restore their communities and create a better future for themselves and their children. The legacy of colonization and slavery can be seen in the many social and economic challenges that Africa faces today, from poverty and inequality to lack of access to education and healthcare. In addition to colonization and slavery, Africa has also experienced many other dark moments in its history, including conflicts, famines, and diseases that have had a devastating impact on the continent. The effects of these events can still be felt today, with many Africans continuing to struggle with the legacy of their past. From the scramble for Africa to the present day, the continent has been shaped by a complex array of internal and external factors, many of which have had a profoundly negative impact on African societies. The transatlantic slave trade was one of the most inhumane and brutal systems in human history, with millions of Africans being forcibly taken from their homes and sold into slavery in the Americas. This has had a lasting impact on the demographics and economies of many African countries, with the loss of so many young and able-bodied people having a devastating effect on the development of the continent. The slave trade also had a profound impact on African cultures and societies, with many traditional ways of life being disrupted and destroyed. The Rwandan genocide is another dark moment in African history, with hundreds of thousands of people being killed in a matter of weeks. This has had a lasting impact on the country and the continent, with many people still struggling to come to terms with the trauma and violence that they experienced. Apartheid in South Africa is another example of the many injustices that have been perpetrated against Africans, with the white minority government imposing a system of segregation and discrimination on the black majority. Apartheid was a system of institutionalized racism, with black people being denied basic rights and freedoms, such as the right to vote, access to education and healthcare, and the right to live where they chose. This has had a lasting impact on South African society, with many people still struggling with the legacy of apartheid today. The fight against apartheid was a long and difficult one, with many people sacrificing their lives and their freedom to bring an end to this unjust system. The end of apartheid in South Africa is a pivotal moment in African history, symbolizing the resilience and determination of the African people. After decades of struggle and sacrifice, the black majority was finally able to gain their freedom and equality, with Nelson Mandela becoming the first black president of South Africa. This moment marked a new era for South Africa and the continent, with many people hoping for a brighter future and a more just and equal society. The end of apartheid also marked a significant shift in the global struggle for human rights and social justice, with many people around the world drawing inspiration from the bravery and determination of the African people. The legacy of apartheid continues to be felt in South Africa today, with many people still struggling with the social and economic challenges that were created by this system. However, the country has also made significant progress, with many people working to build a more just and equal society. As we reflect on the darkest moments in African history, we are reminded of the importance of remembering and learning from the past. The stories of colonization, slavery, and conflict are a painful reminder of the injustices that have been perpetrated against the African people, but they also serve as a testament to the resilience and determination of the continent. By examining these moments, we can gain a deeper understanding of the complexities and challenges of African history and culture. The key points discussed in this video highlight the significance of understanding Africa's darkest moments in history, from colonization and slavery to conflicts and apartheid. Remembering these moments is crucial to fostering understanding and growth, both within Africa and around the world. By learning from the past, we can work towards creating a brighter future for all Africans, one that is marked by justice, equality, and freedom. The importance of remembering Africa's darkest moments in history cannot be overstated, as it allows us to learn from the past and work towards a better future. I hope you've enjoyed this video and learned something new about Africa's complex and fascinating history. Don't forget to leave a comment below sharing your thoughts on Africa's darkest moments in history, and be sure to subscribe for more content on African history and culture.